When teaching beginners to crochet, one of the main things that they struggle with is counting their stitches and getting their crochet into the last stitch. This video will help you to recognize your stitches, count them, and not miss that tricky last stitch. So hi there friends, I'm Benita from Benita Tatters Design. Let's go through how to count your stitches. So when making a project, it's super important to be able to count your stitches, to know what row you're on, and also how many stitches you should have in that row, because especially if you're doing a pattern, you're going to have all different, well, depending on your pattern I suppose, but you're going to have different amounts of crochet, double crochet, treble, all that sort of thing. So I will be talking to you in Australian crochet terms, but I will put on the video the the US terms. UK terms are pretty much the same as Australia, but the US terms are a little different. So I'll put those above for you because I can't think when I'm talking to you as well. So sorry, brain doesn't work that way. When you're crocheting and knitting, it's really easy to get distracted, especially if you're watching a show or you're talking to a friend, or maybe you're even talking to a video or talking to your people. Anyway, it's easy to get distracted. So if I'm going somewhere that I'm going to be doing a project, I will take something that's easy. I can just know how many stitches and see them easily. Something I don't have to count or think too hard about. Actually, at our Crochet Meet-up we had on Friday, I just took frogging. I had my item, my blue top that if you've been watching the show, you would know I had to frog it because it just wasn't working out right. I just took that and frogged it, and because it's so good to just talk to people, and I love talking to people and hearing their stories and learning all about them, and I forget about my work and where I'm up to. So that was, yeah, much easier for me. Okay, so the yellow wasn't working very well for some reason. It was just catching the light. Okay, so when we are crocheting, I'll just quickly do this for you so you can see what I'm talking about. You will see the V stitches. So I'm just doing a double crochet in, that's Australian terms or UK terms. So can you see there the little V? Each little V is your stitch. Then as we get towards the end, it gets hard and tricky because, okay, so we're at the end. It's probably easier if I turn it and do this. So as we work across, and we come to the end, you'll see the last stitch doesn't really, can you see that one there? This one, it doesn't look like a stitch, but it actually is. It's your turning chain. So you just need to go into that one as well, because that is a stitch. And if you don't go into it, then your item that you're making will turn out the wrong shape. For instance, if you're making a square and you miss your two end ones, you'll end up with a triangle. So one thing that I tend to do for my new beginners is I tell them to do the turning chain, the one chain, and then we do the double crochet into the first stitch as well, instead of missing the first stitch, which a lot of the patterns do, just because it makes it a little bit easier to see, just to see that turning chain there. So as we get back to the end of this, you'll see again the turning chain is hard to see, but we still need to go into it to maintain the shape. Another thing you can do, so there's my turning chain, I'll do my one chain and then go into the first stitch like I said, and then you can grab your little stitch marker. I found him. So just grab your little stitch marker, and as you have just done that stitch, just put it in there so that you are not going to forget where your actual end stitch is. So that might be very helpful. Also, as you are, especially if you're doing a garment that you have to do a really long garment, it's really handy to put a stitch marker in, say every 10 rows, and it's just a really easy way to count your rows. So if this information is helpful for you, please hit the like button because it helps other viewers to see our crochet content and helps our channel to grow. So I wouldn't recommend this for new crocheters, but it is definitely a fun one to use with amigurumi. Or even on like edgings. I saw it on the other day, an edging of a crocheted headband, and it looks so cute for winter, but we're in summer here right now. So, but I guess if you want to make garments that are for winter, now's the time to do it. Anyway, so I'm just showing you, hold on, let me put this down again. When you are using fluffy yarn, you just can't see, you cannot see the stitches. You will have to feel them. So just by pushing in, you can actually feel that's the next stitch. And that is the only way I've been able to do it. I don't know why this... it will also make it hard, but you'll have to sort of count your stitches, because in case you do miss feeling one or something, but it is easier if you count your stitches when using this. And look, if you miss a stitch, who's gonna know? Because you can't. Yeah, so that's the hardest one to use, definitely the hardest one to crochet with. Gosh. Another great way of keeping track of my rows, not my stitches but my rows, is I use an app called My Row Counter, and I do pay for the membership or whatever it's called, but it's not expensive. It's so cheap and so worth every cent that I spend on it. But it allows me to keep all of the patterns in there that I have uploaded, and you can just transfer through from Ravelry. So all the Ravelry patterns, you can download your PDF onto your phone or into your app, and it works fantastic. And I love it, and I wouldn't be without it, especially for amigurumi. You can just take it wherever, and it's portable. It's a great way to have all your patterns with you all the time. So let's just do a recap here. First, we learnt to recognize your crochet stitches, and including that little last one on the end, and not to miss that one. We learnt about putting a stitch marker in that last little stitch so that you don't miss it. We learned about putting an extra chain in so that it can be a little bit more recognizable for you. And we learned about using the fluffy yarn and feeling how to recognize your stitches. And we also learned about my app that I love to use. Well, it's not my app personally, but my favorite app. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment on what your favorite way of keeping track of stitches and rows are, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye bye.